Hello there, people of the internet. So I am out here with a Steyr M95 carbine. This particular one is one that I did get from Royal Tiger Imports. I already made a video on me checking out this rifle and unboxing and whatnot, but this rifle is still chambered in its original 8x50 cartridge, which is an unusual cartridge to find. If it was 8x56, I could find ammo for this rifle pretty gosh darn easily. I really like this rifle. The 8x50 cartridge, that's a pretty potent cartridge. I can't quite remember off the top of my head what the actual ballistics are, but I imagine that it would be probably a little less powerful than 8mm Mauser. However, that being said, I'm willing to bet that it still packs more of a punch than most of the intermediate cartridges that we have nowadays. So if this rifle functions properly, then that would be mighty convenient, because I would have this really sweet, really lightweight carbine that is not very long, not overly encumbersome, and it would just be a really, really good option if this thing performs adequately. So this is a rifle that was made in Budapest. This being from Royal Tiger Imports, this did come out of Ethiopia, so I do not have high hopes for it. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to place money on the fact that it's probably going to keyhole. The bore on this thing is not great. Now, that being said, I do have a milling machine, so if this does keyhole and it is not, oh, my audio's cutting out, my batteries are dying. If this does keyhole and it is not a good shooter, then I'll go ahead and I'll counterbore it, and maybe counterboring will breathe some life back into this rifle. There is good rifling inside of the barrel, but towards the muzzle end, it's just not that great. Now, I did slug this barrel, and the slugging came out to a .323 diameter bore, and the rifling grooves were a 329 diameter, which is really, really convenient because 323 is the diameter of your 8mm Mauser projectiles. So I have some 155 grain projectiles that I pulled from surplus ammunition, and I went ahead and I loaded this onto some 8x50 brass, and this brass has been converted from 7.62 by 54 rimmed. So we have a lot going on with this ammunition. That being said, with this ammunition, I was not able to find good load data. I was not able to really figure out what it is that I was looking for. So this is kind of an experiment with this 155 grain stuff. Well, if the rifle keyholes, then it doesn't really matter. But I'm not sure what kind of velocities I'm going to get. I'm not sure if I'm going to get adequate powder burning. If I don't get adequate powder burning, then I'll go ahead and I'll swap us over to a heavier projectile, like a 198 grain. I'm pretty sure that these right here were made to fire like 220 grain or some ridiculously heavy round nose projectile. But I wanted to go ahead and try the 155 grain stuff, because it would be nice to have a fast-moving, lightweight projectile out of something like this. So we're going to see how well it works. So I have 2 rounds. That is all that I have. That is all I have to my name. Our magazine system in this rifle seems to be working fairly well. I have a cardboard target down there as well. That's going to give us a pretty good indication as to whether or not we have any keyholing or tumbling or anything like that, assuming that we actually hit our cardboard, which might not even happen. The sights on this thing, we have the rear battle sight, but the actual elevation adjustment is not existent for this rifle, so I might have to learn where to Kentucky windage this thing. But besides that, let's go ahead and send a round downrange, see if this rifle even functions, because this, like I said, is from Royal Tiger, and this right here did come from their Ethiopia batch. So I have no idea what to expect with this thing. Hey, let me adjust my camera a little bit. I'm still trying to figure out where this camera is going to be looking. As a matter of fact, this one has a screen on it. If I come back here, oh yeah, you guys can see me just fine. So I'm gonna send it around down at the cardboard. I guess I'll just aim for the middle area, question mark. We'll see what happens. All right, that did not feel like a full power round. Let's open this up and have a look at that. Did not feel like all of our powder burned, and we do have a little bit of fouling across the case, and yeah, I'm getting a couple of little flakes of unburnt gunpowder on me. So that tells me that we'll have to use a heavier projectile. So that's not really that big of a problem, but I do have some good news. I think I see where we hit down there. It doesn't look like a keyhole. I will have to go down there and actually check though. So our clip did come out. I caught it with my hand. Go ahead and throw that in my pocket there. And we are hitting a little bit high, which is to be expected at these ranges, but that I can deal with. Let's send this other round here. Oh, I got a face full of gas on that one. Maybe we had ourselves a cartridge rupture or something. Let's open this bad boy up and have a look. Nope, no ruptured cartridge, but it does look like we had more unburnt powder. So since we're not getting the full power out of these cartridges, the brass probably didn't expand the way that it should have, and that's why we have this right here. It's really not that big of a deal, just a heavier weight bullet, so the powder has more time to burn, so we get a, the powder has more time to burn before the bullet starts moving, so we get a better curve of pressure, and that or there should make the brass expand so I don't get powder in my face again. We do have a little bit of unburnt powder inside of this thing now, so I will have to go ahead and clean that out and readjust my loadings here. So that right there should handle that just fine. Let me go grab the cardboard down there and we'll see what it looks like. I'm more curious about that than I am about the actual ammunition that we're firing here. So the ammunition I can play with and I can figure out what kind of loads this rifle actually likes. Let me walk down there and grab that cardboard. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good news, bad news. Good news, it does not look like we keyholed, which is absolutely incredible. We're at about 40 yards or so. That should be adequate distance enough to see if we're going to be keyholing. We have ourselves a pretty round target right there. Maybe I'll set this up for like 100 yards or so and we'll try that again. That being said, we only hit one of those rounds. The second round, just because the powder didn't burn efficiently, maybe it fired a little higher than it normally would have because I held at the same aim point. I was aiming right about here. First round hit there, but it looked like we had better powder burn with the first round than the second round. So the second round, whenever it burned, it did not burn properly, which is why I got gas back in my face. And so the round may have come up here somewhere. But that being said, that does not look like keyholing. Does that look like keyholing to you guys? Because that looks that does not look like keyholing to me. And that is absolutely incredible. I'll go ahead and I'll do some more work with this rifle. I'll figure out what kind of ammunition it does and does not like and find myself a proper load for this thing to where I can fire it without getting a bunch of hot gas back in my face. That would definitely be the preference. I'll try a heavier projectile, and I'm just kind of gauging on what I can find on the internet because I can't find the powders that I'm actually using, but I'm finding similar powders. And I'm like, all right, well, that might work for this. So I'm going to try a 198 grain projectile with the powder that I'm using, and that should give me enough dwell time inside of the cartridge for firing to actually send the bullet downrange and expend the brass with the pressures spiking high enough to be able to expand that brass. But that gives me hope. That right there gives me hope, because that right there is a fantastic representation of what we can expect with this rifle. We might actually have something here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm very happy, very excited for that. I have this nice lightweight carbine. Got to figure out the ammo, but it appears to be accurate. It hits high. It hits about 1.5 feet high at 40 yards, which is fine. I can learn to Kentucky windage and get across that. But man, that is just awesome. I wonder how long it's been since this thing's shot. Like, since it's been fired. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. This M95 carbine here, out here at the range, sending lead downrange. Absolutely fantastic. This is one for the record books as far as I'm concerned. I love bringing these old things back to life and seeing what I can do with them. That is, like I said, fanatical. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. I do appreciate your time. Heavier bullets should solve most of the problems that we're dealing with this thing, because I'm using a nice slow burning powder, reminiscent of what it is that would be used back during the time whenever this right here was being utilized. So if I were to use a faster burning powder to achieve pressure spikes sooner, we could use lighter weight bullets, but I'd much rather use a slower burning powder since this is a particularly old rifle and a particularly worn out rifle. So my ideology is that we just use a heavier weight bullet inside of this thing. That'll give us more energy transfer onto our targets as well. And if I'm going to use this for hunting, that would definitely be ideal. And that dwell time should be long enough to be able to adequately burn the amount of powder that is inside of the case. And that should be enough to get us not only proper pressures, but pressures necessary to be able to expand our brass, so I don't get hot gas in my face like I did whenever I fired this thing. So thanks for watching, folks. I do appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off. Have yourself a fantastic day. I am overly pleased with this thing, especially if it actually fires accurately. If not, I'll counterbore it, but that one shot right there does give me some pretty good hope. I'll see you all in the next episode. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.